Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Sam and we are talking about Tapforms 5 for iOS and Mac. This video continues. This is episode 2 of the Meal Planner series. And in this episode, we're going to look at the recipe aspect of our database here. And in the last video, we created our brand new document with our meals form, and our recipe form is very basic at the moment. And we added chicken wings. But I talked about a soup that I cooked the other day. And that soup was actually a Hong Kong soup that we see here. We'll copy that title over. And it's got a few things in it. It's kind of a cool soup. Tomatoes, potatoes, bit of beef. It's kind of nice. Red soup. So this soup has a bunch of stuff in it. We've got a couple of ingredients here. We've got our instructions. And actually what we're going to do is, in the previous video, I talked about, notes fields are sometimes a little janky when we copy from the web because they copy all of the formatting with them. And we don't always necessarily want that. And if we want to strip the formatting, it becomes a little tricky. So let's just copy all of this in and see. Oops, see, this is the joys of copying off the web. Let's copy that and just see what that comes back with. Okay, so we've got all of that, but we can see that it's picked 19.2 as our font size. So let's try pasting it with format and match style. And now we see that it's just pasted as plain text. So we see it's size 14 and it's all what it is. But we now have to go back and edit it to add in the formatting. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well... Why are you not letting me delete that? Come on. There we go. If I'm going to do that, I might as well just use Markdown. Because Markdown gives me this nice little preview. Already has some of the formatting. You can see that here, and all we have to do is add some new lines. So we're actually going to change this to be a heading, and you're a heading. We can get rid of instructions here, so we're going to use 3. As you can see, the more you use, eventually it gets to a point that it gets really small. All the way up to large. We're going to go with 3 because I think that's a good balance. And then Markdown wants you to put an extra blank line and between each of the items. So we put that extra blank line in, and we can see that we've got everything there. Okie dokie. Let's do that. Beef shank, and we'll actually put that in because we'll put that there. For 6, we'll pull back in this pro tip and we'll surround it with some stars, and there we go. And maybe we just put that on its own line at the bottom there, and maybe for that other one that makes sense as well. Let's just put it into new line. There we go. So we've taken that recipe, and we can see the preview as we went side by side, and see maybe we bold each of the things here. And this is not necessarily dissimilar to working in the standard Tapforms rich text editor, which is really your standard Apple editor. It's got all of the features that you expect out of rich text on the Mac. So it's pretty solid. we go. We've got that to the point where it's pretty solid. So we'll save that and we'll close that. We've got that laid out nice and neatly here. And we need to transcribe across our ingredients. Let's just see what copy and paste does here. Look at that. So we've copied that over. And we're going to have to do some formatting thing there. So, is measurement the right word for this? I can see already that we actually have an extra bit of metadata that's kind of interesting here, which would be preparation. So let's put that in there as well. Cabbage. Sort of restructuring this recipe a bit as we go. And you know what, maybe we put measurement first and then ingredients second. Fun thing about tap forms, we don't need to make a final decision here. We can just change it later if we find out that, oh, did I just try that again? Roughly sliced. And a large onion. No, I didn't want to delete. Wrong delete key. I wanted option delete there. Actually, wait, did I? I probably should. You know what? I should actually copy that over. Do we want to have a quantity thing here? Onion. Now, is it a large onion or one? Is large the thing? This is a fun thing. Okay, some potatoes, cook them, mash them, put them in a stew. We cut them into 6 pieces. Boil them, it's boil and mash and put them in a stew, I should say. Tomatoes, 2 Roma, quartered. Maybe there's a better way of doing this. Okay, we'll do that, and then let's do this in order. Oops, copy all the way across. Delete that. Bay leaves. You know what? Let's change measurement to quantity. I think quantity is a better word. And we're gonna cut that across. Some olive oil. Some paprika. And then salt and pepper to taste. And we need to get rid of these little things. And that was 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. I must admit that I did not use the bay leaves when I cooked mine. It tasted perfectly fine in my not so humble opinion. Okie dokie. Let's resize this, make this a little bigger. And we do a little bit more cleanup. Chunks. So let's just do chunks, crushed. Stock. Okay, then we can clean this up. And then we are done with our recipe. So let's go back to our meal, and then we've entered that in. We could do a layout here as well. That would be kind of interesting. And it looks like when I copied that, we copied in an extra line. So what we're going to do is go back to actually our field list, and we're going to create a link to form field, and we're going to link that to meals. We are going to show the inverse relationship. We're going to make this a one-to-many relationship, and we're actually now going to hide this field because we actually aren't interested in going from the recipe to the meals, but we are interested in selecting the recipe for our meal. Now what we've done here is entered our brand new recipe, and actually we can just click on this to get to this. In our brand new recipe, we've put our ingredient list in, and then we have our instructions for doing the cooking and preparing the food that we want to prepare, and we can start to link it together, and maybe another entry will be down the line when I cook something like a soup that I use over multiple days. We do an entry for a form that then tracks how many meals I managed to get out of that particular batch of soup, to give me an idea of what we're doing. We will add, actually I think I'm going to add something extra here in the middle. No, garlic bread. Now we just ran into a really fun part of tables and tap forms, is that they aren't inherently sorted. So we added a new entry and it came at the top here. What gives? And that's because of the way the sorting works. There actually is none by default. So we naturally had that. Now one of the ways to work with that is to have an extra little field that is just number field, and we just kind of line number. Now what you can do with that is then put in so what was it, cabbage, onion, potato. Yeah, so the rest of this is in order. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There we go. And then you become 15 because I want to put you at the bottom, and then we come here, sort of ascending by that item at the end there. And then we've got our nicely, neatly sorted recipe in order. It's guaranteed to obviously be sorted the way we expect it each time we come back to this recipe. It's a bit of a quirk of tap forms, that by default, there is no inherent ordering per se, or it's not easy to control and just reorder items. So the workaround for this is this little line number hack. But we do have garlic bread. 1 stick. Is a stick of garlic bread? Maybe a loaf. Loaf. I have garlic bread with my soup for lunch. Exciting stuff, I know. Exhilarating YouTube content. If this exhilarating YouTube content about Tapforms 5 for iOS and Mac was interesting for you, please leave a like. If it wasn't interesting, well, hit that dislike button as well. That's okay. I'll get the message. If you have any tips, advice, suggestions, training tips for how to be able to speak on the YouTube video, leave a comment in the box below. And please subscribe if these videos are interesting. I record these kind of ad hoc as content comes up and things interest me and schedule allows. So hit the subscribe button, see what videos come up, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.